So if you've been living under a rock, Genshin dropped a teaser trailer, which I think is the biggest low drop in the history of Genshin low drop. Like, it's big when I'm recording in daytime because I don't do that. I record at night. We finally met the rulers of Tavia, and not just that, we have glimpses and teasers of Nordkarai and Piero, Jester, Royal Mage of Khanria, Fifth Harbinger, and also there is some bit of lore about Columbina, which I'm going to talk about at the end because it's a theory, so it's obviously not confirmed. Keeping that aside, let's start with rulers because they are the main attraction of this trailer, and not just in teasers. I feel like we will see rulers in the story. In the teaser, the rulers talk about that since they have no orders from above, since Heavenly Principal is still sleeping and has yet to awaken, they have no one to order themselves. So they're talking about intervening with the world affairs. That means we gotta see them in the Archon quest. We actually gotta interact with the gods of Genshin Impact. And it would make sense because after Inazuma, we got a teaser in which we saw all Fatui Harbingers. And after that teaser from Sumeru, we started meeting the high-ranking Harbingers. Second Harbinger in Sumeru, fourth in Fontaine, first in Nateland. So I don't know if they will become playable because making rulers playable is like adding a new element itself. Speaking of rulers, let's start with the first one. Ronova, the ruler of death. We finally get to see her in her goddess form. We met her in the Nateland Archon quest where Capitano sacrificed himself. She's also the one who's behind the curse of immortality because she controls death itself. We first saw her. Second one is more interesting because it's Nabelius, the ruler of life, but the body is under control of Ryan Daughter. So if you have done Mondstadt Archon quest, Albedo tell us how Ryan Daughter devoured Nabelius, but the ruler of life is still alive because we see in the trailer that she's like a second personality for Ryan Daughter. She doesn't have authority over the body. Ryan Daughter is the one who's in control, but Nabelius, the real ruler of life, she's still in there. And we also see the details in the eyes of ruler of life because in one eye there's a DNA symbol because she's ruler of life, and the other eye is the Primogem sign, which is the Khanria eyes, to show that Ryan Daughter is also in there. Third, we see Isaatroth. If you're a Genshin OG, you should be very hyped about this because Isaatroth is that one god we have been hearing about since Mondstadt. In Mondstadt, there is a quest in which there's a hidden island here, and once you do the quest of that island, that's where we first heard about Isaatroth, the ruler of time. She used to get worship alongside when the Mondstadt people used to worship goddess of time, and Enkanome people also got help from Isaatroth. And so Isaatroth is one god we have been hearing for a long time. We finally saw her, and probably my favorite design in all of Genshin Impact. And finally, Asmodee, unknown god, ruler of space. She's not in the teaser, but the teaser does revolve around her because the other rulers, they're talking about how Asmodee is not here. She has left Celestia and they don't know where she is. The rulers were having their meeting and Asmodee is not here. So Isaatroth talks about how maybe Asmodee has joined the enemy side, which again in a minute I have a theory, I'll talk about it. After meeting the rulers, we see Piero, the fifth harbinger, because Isaatroth points out, oh, ruler of death Ronova, someone is watching you, someone gazes upon you, and Ronova is like, who the fuck is watching me? And then they realize fifth harbinger, Piero Jester, he's watching Ronova, which makes sense because Khanrians were cursed by immortality by Ronova, so it would make sense for all of them to hold grudge against Ronova. Capitano did the same. Capitano had a grudge against Ronova. That's why he sacrificed himself, because then Ronova wouldn't get the death she wanted because Capitano is immortal. And then we see Piero having a whole monologue like, oh, people feel blessed when they get gods gaze upon themselves, but once mortal gaze their eyes on the gods, they get punished for it, which is obviously he's talking about Khanria. Mortal tried to reach the gods, and even Golden City, when mortal tried to reach the levels of god, they were destroyed by the gods. And then Piero talks about killing a god, which means Fathu's ultimate goal is to kill all the gods and stuff because they are the tyrant ruler. They are not the real ruler of this world. I don't know if all the rulers will die. I am pretty sure Ryan Daughter is 100% becoming playable. Isaatroth can become playable too. Ronova, I don't know. Ronova and Asmodee, I don't know about these two if they'll become playable. And then Piero says that, oh, just like the Sarissa said, that even the gods have their limits. And then comes the most interesting part. We see higher ranking Fatih giving orders to lower ranking Fatih to find Columbina. They have to retrieve Columbina from Nordkarai. I don't know what do they mean by retrieve. Is she stuck there or she just left Fatih on her own? They just said we have to retrieve Columbina, but yeah, I have a theory for both Columbina and Paimon. So Asmodee, let's come back to Asmodee. Asmodee, the ruler of space. Isaatroth says that what if ruler of space Asmodee, she betrayed us, she betrayed Heavenly Principal, and she is with the enemy side. And then Ronova says, oh, does the ruler of space values her master life more than her own life? Which is hinting at that Asmodee is working with someone, if not under someone. She's definitely with someone because this master life they're talking about. There are two theories here. Asmodee is Paimon. Paimon has been with us since the start. Paimon just randomly happened to find us. I mean, we does fish Paimon out of the water, but do we really? Like, what if it's all part of the plan and Asmodee just has been with us because she has some other plans of her own? But I'm not that much for this theory because I'm still with Paimon connected to Moon's sister and stuff. I more believe in that theory. Then there's Columbina. This is a stretch, very big stretch, but let me go. What if Columbina is ruler of space? And again, it's a big stretch. I know it sounds really fucking stupid. It's a very big stretch, but because they said that Isothroth said that ruler of space have sided with the enemy. Celestia have only two enemies, Fatui, Abyss Order. Abyss Order is not gonna team up with any gods. They hate God. They have no reason to team up with gods. Ruler of space is definitely not with Abyss Order, and even if she is possibly hiding under some disguise or some shit, but I think she's with Fatui. Piero literally in the trailer talks about killing a god and everything. Like, Fatui is very confident. It would make sense for them to be so confident because they have a ruler on their side. And also at the end of the trailer we see Columbina is like glitching and stuff, and like she's also in Nordka and they talk about retrieving her. Again, this is a very big stretch. If Columbina is ruler of space, I personally wouldn't like it, but this is just something. Celestia only have two enemies. And again, there's also the Paimon theory that Paimon is there and blah 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 blah. Honestly, I'm very hyped about the rulers themselves, like fuck everything. And I'm also really hyped because rulers will now finally be part of the story. But yeah, anyway, there was a breakdown of Genshin Impact new teaser. I'm really hyped for Nordcry. I feel like they're really cooking with Nordcry. We're gonna be eating good. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.